Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Indie on the Rocks series where I sit back and relax with a nice drink in hand and take a look at an interesting indie game that I have found online recently. And for today's episode, we are having a gander at Velocity Stream, which is being made by Cavelight Entertainment, and it is a racing game. Now, normally I don't tend to look at a whole lot of racing games because, well, most are pretty generic. They have to have something that makes them unique for me to care about them. Like, we've looked at two in the past. One was where you were racing on the very cool cylindrical tracks where you could go anywhere, and then the most recent one was that hover bike joust, which was really cool because it's hover bikes. This one, the feature that it has that makes it unique and makes me really interested to play it is that you never race on the same track twice. Let me explain that. The whole concept of this game is it's like a sci-fi future sort of thing, and you're racing, but you're racing on an energy trail being created by a plane called a paver. And so you, as the racers, are trying to stay on this energy trail track, and if you get too far behind the paver airplane, you fall off and you lose. You're done for. But if you catch up to the paver, you win. So there's no real finish line, you have to catch up to the plane that is making the track you're racing on. Holy crap, that is an awesome idea. I really like that idea. And right now in the public demo that we have available, which is what we are playing here today, we only have a practice mode where you can race by yourself, practicing on the tracks where you are chasing an AI paver. But eventually in the online mode that you'll be able to play in this game, one player can play as the paver, creating the track, while the other players are racing on that track. And that is just wonderful. So basically you have one person piloting the paver, trying to screw over everyone else by making a really difficult track, and apparently there will even be power-ups, like the paver can grab a power-up that makes the roads more narrow or adds obstacles and all sorts of things like that that I cannot wait for. It's just such a cool, fun little idea. So let's just jump right into things and show it off. Now, one thing, I always like to look at option menus because I am a PC gamer and I do love options. And right now, this button does absolutely nothing. This is made in Unity though, so we do get the standard Unity launcher where we can select our resolution and generic graphic options, but I'm glad to see this button here, so hopefully in the future we will get a proper options menu. For the time being though, nothing. This of course also doesn't work because currently in the public demo there's no online play. This will take you to their Greenlight page, so if you do like what you see today, you can go and support them on Greenlight. I know I will be, because this is fun and I really want to play this game as a full game. So let's jump into practice mode, where we can choose what vehicle to race on the track. Now we have this one that's the Cricket, this one which is the Javelin, and this one which is the King. And basically with the three sort of vehicles here, this one's supposed to be a good all-rounder, I believe. There is a config file that comes with this where you can actually change all of these race cars to your heart's content, and they actually, want you to do that because they want you to share it with them and with other people so that they can see what type of racing people are liking to do. But this, I think, is supposed to be a good all-rounder. This one's supposed to be fast and nimble, and this one is just supposed to be a powerhouse. So we're going to start with the Cricket first. This is what this is what I've been mainly driving because it seems to be the easiest to handle. And we can hit start here and then select our color, which I think is quite cool. So you can do a little bit of customization off the fly. Very nice. And then we just hit start. And there's the paver plane flying around randomly, creating the track. And we can now go and follow it, which is, oh god, can be interesting. My one complaint that I really have with this game right now is the camera angle. It gets very difficult to see the track on a lot of circumstances. And the whole point of this racing is to be, the only way you can win is to be a skilled racer because, yeah, you can't memorize the track because the track is constantly changing and new every time you make it. And like I said, eventually in online play, a player will be able to actually fly the paver so they could do some really crazy things to try and screw you over. But as for the racing itself, it's quite nice. In the cricket, I like this one, because like I said, oh god, I'm falling off the edge. There we go. If you do fall off the edge, I'll demonstrate. You eventually get thrown back onto the track, but you tend to be looking at where you flew off, so, yeah, you get a little screwed over there. But right now in the practice mode, it's actually pretty easy to catch up to the paver. I've actually been letting off the gas every now and then so we can talk more. It's like I've usually been able to catch up to the paver in about a minute, typically. I mean, look at it. It's not that far ahead of us right now. Yeah, because that, again, this is sort of a practice mode just for you to see what the game will have in store in the future. But yeah, the one big issue I have is the camera angle right now. As I mentioned, it just gets very, very hard to see the track. But control-wise, which is what I was talking about before I intentionally flew off the track a moment ago, and just now realized it, the controls really depend on which craft you're flying or racing with. The cricket I like. It seems to be a good middle ground of everything. It is a little bit floaty depending on which vehicle you choose, but I don't really actually see that as a bad thing because it kind of makes sense. You're racing on a freaking energy wave, and currently we're in space, so you'd expect things to be a little bit floaty. But it responds quite nicely. There is a bit of a lag time. We do get a bit of drifting no matter what you're doing. But it seems to be quite good, and honestly, I think the racing model is quite nice. And again, it all depends also on which ship you are flying and racing with. But it's very cool. I do enjoy my time with it, at least I have so far. And again, I just love the idea of these tracks being completely unique every time you fly. Now, right now, you'll notice, of course, we are in space. That is the only environment option we have in the demo, but they have already showed off some other landscapes that they have available in the game currently in their development build. There is like a planetary cityscape and things like that, so there will be a variety of environments for you to fly on. But for the time being, we are just in space here, and as you can probably notice, I'm slowing down so I don't end the race prematurely, because at the moment there is one very big bug in this demo build of the game, in that you have to restart the game after you finish a race. So I'll actually finish it here so we can test out another ship. And there we go. We win, and the very, very loud music kicks in. Dear God, that victory music is like 10 times louder than the music playing in the background of the race. I will turn that down in editing so you guys don't have your ears blown out like I just had. But yes, right now, if I hit the menu button, nothing happens. We actually have to physically quit out of the game to restart another race, which is another reason I was kind of stalling on that race. But it is a bug, but again, this is an early demo build, and you can see the paver continuing on in the distance, and there goes the track. See, that's what I meant earlier, where if you got too far behind the paver, you were screwed. The track eventually leaves, because again, it's supposed to be an energy trail, so if you fall too far behind, you're out of the race, because your track no longer exists, which, you know, makes entirely good sense. But yes, I'm going to pause the video and go back into the game so we can try out another one of the vehicles, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we are back in the vehicle selector, and yeah, that was the cricket we were just looking at. A really good, simple all-rounder, at least that's what it seems like to me. I wish there was some form of description here in-game to make life a little bit easier, but oh well. As I said, there is a config file where you can adjust all the attributes of the vehicles, and that's how I kind of figured that this one's an all-rounder, because I was comparing their stats. So next, let's try the Javelin, which, to my knowledge, is supposed to be sort of a more nimble plane. I mean, it's called the Javelin, you'd expect it to be. So let's hit start, and we'll just leave it the default white, and jump in, where you may notice there's a texture bug on this one. Little countdown, there we go. And you'll also notice down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a slightly different HUD. I'm not entirely sure what the stability control is, or how to turn it on and off. I've looked at the controls for the game in the Unity launcher, and there doesn't seem to be a way to turn that on or off, so I don't know. That That seems to be a thing, though. But we do have an average speed calculator here, which we didn't have on the Cricket. I don't know why, but we do have it here. And as you can see with this vehicle, it's much more nimbly back and forth than the Cricket was. It is the same speed, and I just fell off the track. Lovely. It is the same speed, roughly, I believe. I think this one's a little bit quicker than the Cricket, but its primary thing is that it's more nimble. So yes, let's just sort of go around a bit. So I have enjoyed flying with this one because on tighter turns that the paver creates, you can more easily get around some of those tight turns with this. But I just kind of feel like the Cricket has better handling, more responsive handling. This one's very, very kind of, you drift a lot with this because, well, I think it's meant to be that way. It's still quite interesting, though. Oh, we're kind of catching up to that other track over there. And yeah, it's an interesting little plane. I do enjoy this one still, but as I said, I prefer the Cricket. But let's catch up to the ship now, and then go try the King, which does mean, of course, I will have to quit out of the game yet again and then bring you back in the vehicle selector. But, oh, and look at that model of the paver. It's just beautiful in there. Look at that. That's a very nice model. Let's catch up. There we go. We've won, and there yet again is the extraordinarily loud victory music. Seriously, well, oh my, that really turned in on itself there. I've actually never seen it do that before. That would be a hell of a track to actually ride there. You'd run into the other way. Oh, boy. Huh. Well, that's the AI for you. All right, be back in a sec. All right, and back in the ship selector where we have now looked at the Cricket, the Javelin, and now on to the King. This is a very cool looking... I think this is my favorite of the models. The Cricket is quite cool here because you get the rotating wheel, which is very nice. This one, it really doesn't have any cool animations to it or anything. This is just a beefy, cool-looking model, though. I really like the look of it, so let's start and leave it just that beautiful, gorgeous color and jump right into a race where this is meant to be sort of the powerhouse ship, where it's slow to start, but it has a much higher top speed, which does mean you can easily fly off the track, because its handling is a bit on the lower side compared to the other two, but its top speed is supposed to be much more, and there we go. Oh, I didn't fly off, actually. I just kind of bounced off the edge. That was interesting. But yes, it is quite cool, because I believe it has, like, twice the RPMs as the others, which I don't know really if RPM would be the proper term, but that's what it says in the config file for these. But I mean, these are like hover sort of race cars. They don't really have internal combustion engines to have RPMs with, but I mean, okay, we'll go with it. But yes, it is a very cool little ship. I do enjoy this one as well. Again, I think the model is the best on this one. But I prefer the Cricket still. Oh boy, we've almost caught up with it already. Oh yeah, the speed on this thing is just crazy compared to the other two. It's basically like a street or not a street, but a oh, what's it called? Drag racer car. There we are. It's best in a straight line. It'll go very, very fast. When you get to tighter corners, this one doesn't do too well. The Javelin is very good with corners. The Cricket seems to be a good all-rounder, just sort of nice in general for all circumstances. But yeah, I really like the concept of this game. I love the idea of the track never being the same twice, so you can't memorize the courses. Your victory relies on your actual skill. And I cannot wait until the online mode becomes public, because that is just going to be glorious, having one person playing the paver and trying to screw over everyone else by making the most difficult track possible. Because, well, the job of the racers is to reach the paver first, so you are competing against other racers to try and catch up with the paver, while the paver's goal is to try and keep you away for as long as possible. So it's a lovely dynamic. I really like the idea of that. You have most of the people involved in a race trying to reach something and the final person trying to run away. It's a great little concept. I love the idea. And again, the procedural track when it's AI, or of course the custom-built track, I guess would be the best way to say, when you are the paver pilot, is just wonderful. I love the idea. I cannot wait to see how it progresses, and I really do hope that it makes it through its Steam greenlight, because I would buy this game. But yes, yeah, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I think that pretty much explains everything I have to say about the game and everything we know at this moment. Again, infinite tracks, and never the same track twice. The paver pilot will eventually have power-ups to change the tracks. We have, at the moment, 3 different race cars. I don't know if they'll be adding any more, but for the time being, we have 3. Eventually, there will be online multiplayer. It's all skill-based racing, no memorization of tracks. And, oh yes, once again, a reminder that we won't always be in space. They will have other environments like, you know, cities and planetary bodies, etc. You can take a look at the pictures on their Greenlight page to check that out to see what the game has in store for the future. And yeah, I hope you do go and check out this current public build of the game. And if you do enjoy it, go and give them your support on Greenlight. And I hope you have enjoyed this episode today. And of course, that you come back for the next, when we will be looking at yet another, hopefully fun indie game. But until then, thank you for watching, my friends, and as always, have a good one. I'm kind of trying not to actually finish this race, because, dear God, that victory music is way too loud. Later, guys!